Hi, my name is Courtney Collin, and I am doing my educational thinker video on Thomas Jefferson. Sorry, my voice is a little, I'm getting sick. Fun facts about Jefferson. He was the third president of the United States. He wrote the Declaration of Independence in 1776, and he is on the nickel and on the $2 bill. Thomas Jefferson was born on April 13th in 1743 in Virginia. He was provided with the finest education, private tutoring boarding schools, and then after that he went to the College of William and Mary, and then after that he studied to become a lawyer. It was in the College of William and Mary where he really started to think about education and educational reforms. Background on education during this time period, there wasn't really any. You had only those who were wealthy were able to go to school, so if you were poor, you were taught at home. Jefferson once stated in 1820, "What is her education now? Where is it? The little that we import like beggars from other states, or we import their beggars to bestow us on their miserable crumbs." I think he is stating how there is no education system in place right now. There were no education systems for educational paths for the poor. If you were poor, like I said before, you were taught at home. And then you continued your career that your family had. For example, if you were a farmer, then if your family was a farmer, then you would then become a farmer. Mothers became teachers and taught them how to read and write. This is why Jefferson got so involved and passionate in the education system. He wanted to actually create a system where everyone can go to school, no matter your money status. He wanted public education in every county so that families could have easier access to schools, so that they didn't have to travel so far away for schools. He wanted a national education system instead of it just being statewide. And once he figured out what he needed to reform, he started to create different bills on this. He was nicknamed the Educational President. He created 126 bills on education and reforms, but Bill 79 was probably the most important. This was a bill, and it was called More General Diffusion of Knowledge, and this bill indicates the need to extend the benefits of education to all citizens. By setting this bill into motion, he wanted to reform the traditional views of education. The bill called for states to be in charge of their own education, and it allowed the families to choose whether or not to send their child to school, but now at least they had a choice to, instead of it just being about money. This bill also called for the states and local counties to put more money and more funds in the educational system. This bill would provide the basics of education, and it would be free for everyone, even males and females. Many people were in favor of this bill. George Wythe in 1786 stated, "I think by far this is the most important bill in our whole code, is that the diffusion of knowledge among the people." Thomas Jefferson's main focus after his presidency was education in Virginia. He created the University of Virginia in 1779. He wanted a national university, but that was not passed. The publication system in Virginia did not happen until 1869, which was after Thomas Jefferson's death, so he was never able to see it in effect. A critique that I have of Thomas Jefferson is that he tried to pass so many bills at once, and most of them did not get passed. I think that if he focused on a specific issues and started to create educational systems, more legislators would have supported him and his bills. For example, if he only focused on opening a public education system in Virginia sooner, I think that it would have been passed sooner rather than 40 years after his death. I completely understand him being passionate and excited, but I think that he should have definitely focused more on public education so that it could have opened sooner and then helped those who weren't able to go to school. Another critic was James Carpenter. He thinks that Jefferson became and valued more views of a Democrat rather than a Republican, especially because Democrats and Republicans mean two very different things back then than they do now. This is important because Jefferson was very committed, very open to being a Republican during this time period. Jefferson did a lot of important things during his time as vice president and president, but the most important was his passion for education. Jefferson died in 1826, and he tried to create the foundations of education and ended up changing Virginia's education forever. Thank you.